today's review, we've got a beer from Morrisons and it's from Polly's. This is a pale ale and it is called Past Future. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today, supermarket beers. We're obviously getting up to that sort of time at Christmas. So there's quite a few new beers. So Morrisons reviewed the other Polly's one, which, I haven't got it up there. Please tell me I've got it up there. What's it called? Can't see it up there actually. Okay, so I had another Polly's beer. It was an IPA and it was called, oh, was it that one? Everything Works Again. Got it there in the end. So that was the IPA and that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And it was an IPA that you would expect if you bought Polly's direct. So this is good. So hopefully this will be the same. This is Past Future and it's quite sort of, I suppose it's like a green plant-like artwork. And it's 5.4%. Obviously I don't drink pale ales much, but when I do drink pale ales, I like to drink the Polly's pale ales. So this has got Citra, Mosaic, Idaho 7, and everyone's favourite hop, Talus. Yeah, Talus. If there's one brewery that likes to use Talus, it's Polly's. And they've stuck it at the end of this one. But we've got 3 other hops in there. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass, and see if it's going to be as good as the last one. Polly's glass, I mean, I've had this for ages. I very rarely use it. But it's one of those sort of glasses that is good for a pale ale, I think. It's quite unique in terms of its shape. But we'll see how this goes. Well, beer in a glass, lots of carbonation sticking to the glass. That might just be due to the glass because I haven't used it for a while, so it might have a bit of dust on it from being in the cupboard. But we've got this bright yellow colour of beer, custard almost. You know, that's how you want a pale ale to look. 2 fingers of fairly loose, just off white head. Looks pretty good, and already the aroma's filling the room, which is good for a pale ale and especially good for a supermarket pale ale. So let's unpack the aroma. Yeah, lots of sort of tropical notes. You get that little hint of the Talus in there, but you're also getting quite a lot of the Idaho 7, that sort of black tea. There's a slightly earthiness that Idaho 7 brings. And then obviously Citra, Mosaic. It's a combo. You know, there's lots of different, going to be lots of different aromas and flavours really in here. But it's more on the sort of tropical side than the citrus side. Let's give it a little top up. There we go. I think that's pretty good in a glass. And let's drink it. Cheers, everyone. That's decent. Quite a soft mouthfeel. Sort of light to medium, but not. I mean, lots of supermarket pale ales are very watery. This isn't. This is why I like Polly's pale ales, because they're very close to being like an IPA in terms of their body. Easy to drink. Flavour-wise, yeah, it's like the aroma. There's a bit of just about everything. So you got mango and passion fruit. Some guava in there. And grapefruit as well. So there's a combination of tropical and citrus. But it's quite light. But it's for a pale ale, there's a level of complexity you don't usually get with a pale ale. Yes, there's 4 hops in there. Maybe that's the reason. But with all that sort of fruit flavour, you are getting this sort of black tea flavour, very distinct from the Idaho 7, coming through quite, I say quite strongly, but basically what it's coming through, you can identify it if you know what you're looking for. So there's that black tea sort of earthiness. And the Talus is very weak in the mix. It just gives a slight floweriness on the back end, but I wouldn't say it's difficult. Again, because I know it's got Talus in it, I'm probably thinking, oh, I'm imagining those sort of flavours, but it's a good. Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more of that sort of slightly that perfuminess coming through on the back end, but that's mixing with that black tea, so you get this earthiness. But that just gives a complexity. I don't think I've had a pale ale as complex as this. So you got the mango, the tropicalness up front. Then you get a little bit of grapefruit. Then that sort of goes into sort of an earthiness, that black tea sort of flavour. And then you're left with this slight perfumey aftertaste that isn't unpleasant, and it's just about right, just to give it a little bit of an edge, I suppose. This is a very good pale ale. Polly's make great pale ales. They don't always make great pale ales in the supermarket, but this one is probably one of the best pale ales I've had from them in a supermarket. And to be honest, it's up there with a lot of their pale ales. So yeah, I think this is worth it. I mean, this and the other one, the IPA, have been very good. I've also got a West Coast IPA that'll be coming next. I'm probably going to do all these free Pollies. People get fed up when I do three of the same brand, one after the other, but I'm going to do them. So for my own purposes, I know what they're like. But this is very good. I want to say 375 because I think they were all 375, but sometimes it might be a bit cheaper than that. But again, 4 for free. They've got quite a few new ones that I didn't get. They didn't have. So I think they've got a double IPA from Northern Monk. They've got the other one that I did get was one which was, I think, an offset brewery called President. So that's coming up as well. But yeah, the ones that they didn't get was definitely the Northern Monk one, which is called Cosmic Dipper. And there's a few others. The Arbor Ales one called a Pacific IPA. That looks supposed to be really good as well. I want to try and get hold of that. And there's a few other ones from other breweries that I haven't heard of, or they're not the sort of breweries that are mainstream. So Morrisons seem to be kicking off this new sort of, I suppose, autumn-winter range. I expect Sainsbury's and Tesco's will follow suit, as do all the rest of them. So there'll be a few supermarket beers coming up on the channels, but I know you guys like them. But let's get some scores for this one. Okay, let's do the scores for Past Future. This is a pale ale, 5.4%, Citra Mosaic, Idaho 7 and Talus. A complex, very good pale ale. As I said, Polly's, when it comes to pale ales, I think that they are the best in the market. I don't think I've had a pale ale as good from any other brewery consistently like I have from Polly. So that's what, if you want something a bit lower ABV and you're thinking, oh yeah, am I going to get the flavour from a pale ale? Polly's, they don't compromise most of the time, especially if you're heading over a 5% sort of ABV for it. But let's go for the scores. So we'll start with aroma. Smells pretty damn good. Lots of mango, lots of tropical notes, a slight earthy note in there as well. I think it smells pretty good. Again, there's a lot of pale ales out there, especially in supermarkets, where you just won't get that level of aroma and complexity in the flavour as well, which we'll go on to in a minute, but you won't get that. You won't get the aromas won't kick as much as they do on this. So I'm going to give it a 14 for aroma. Appearance. Well, again, pale ales, sometimes they can look a little bit watery. They can look a little bit just about hazy. But this is a proper haze bomb, proper sort of custardy colour. I think it's worthy of an 8 for appearance. Flavour-wise, well, again, 4 hops. You can get all of the different flavours of those hops. There's a complexity. There's a lot of IPAs, even double IPAs. They don't have the complexity that this has in flavour. You're getting all that juice and the tropicalness up front. You're getting slight sort of, goes into a slight sort of grapefruit flavour. Then you're getting this earthy bitterness sort of on the back end, and it sort of ends a little bit with this perfumey sort of aftertaste, which is pleasant. So I think it's a very good flavour. I'm going to get 35. The body's good as well for a pale ale. Soft carbonation. All the boxes are ticked for that. Value for money. Well, if this is 375, you could buy 4 of them and you get the fourth one free. So that would bring the price down to, I don't know, something like £3. That is a great value, even if it's a pale ale. But as I said, this is a sort of pale ale that you didn't know it was, you'd think it was an IPA. It's easy drinking, but there's lots of flavour and it's soft. It's very similar to a lot of, cheaper or less premium branded IPAs, I should say. But I think it's very good. So I can't even, we're on flat value, aren't we? So I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 because, you know, as you say, you pick up 4 of these. You can pick up, you know, a couple of these and a couple of the IPAs, and you know, you come and going for a good time. So yeah, definitely worthy of a 9. And my overall experience, well, if you haven't already realised, I do like this beer. I like the complexity of a pale ale, which you don't get with many pale ales. You know, hardly any. You know, you probably got 1 in 10 you're going to get a level of complexity, because pale ale is about easy drinking, about maybe all the juice and very little else. You're not getting aftertaste. You're sessioning it. You're not sitting and sort of savouring it. But this is a sort of beer you can savour, and the value's great, and it's just got all those things that you want in it. It's very difficult to think of anything that's wrong with this beer. That's the weird thing. No, I mean, it's just, if you're just starting off on craft beer, and this is the first beer you have, and you think, wow, if this is a beer that I'm going to have, this is what craft beer is all like, you're going to be a big fan. This is what we need to see more of in the supermarkets. So I'm going to give it 15 for overall experience. And we top the scores up, and it's another highly recommended. It's 81 out of 100. Again, supermarket beers in highly recommended. Who'd ever thought such a thing? But the other Polly's one was 82, so I'm not surprised. I'm glad that Polly seemed to be, I don't know if they're listening to me. They may be. I have spoken to them before about their supermarket beer, and they're saying, yeah, well, we had a different thing here, and this batch may have not been great and all that. They're going to make lots of beers, and they're a small brewery. For me, this is up there with the best pale ales they've ever had in a supermarket, and they've had a couple of some very good ones. So I'm hopefully that now they've got to a point where they're maybe getting a bit bigger, they can absorb some of those costs, because they know that if they make a great beer, more people will buy them. More people will go to their tap room. They're now in mould, maybe. More people will buy from their website direct. I think that's a good attitude, and I think it's good for the industry. It's good for supermarkets, and ultimately it's good for us, because we're going to get beers that we love. So let me know if you've had it. Am I over gushing about this? I have lost a little bit of. There's just been so many great other breweries that come onto the market, really. So Polly's have sort of knocked back a little bit in terms of my favourites. But when I drink this, I think I shouldn't really be dropping back on them, because they make great beers and they make very good pale ales. And now they're making these great beers, and they're available in supermarkets for basically a couple of quid, you know, around £3. But definitely good value for money. So Christmas coming up. I know we're in sort of October, but you know, you might be thinking about Christmas, and I'm thinking, oh, they're going to be drinking more beers. Can I afford to be paying £5.50 for an IPA, £6? That sort of price when I can get these, and these are great beers, and they're just one of those sort of beers that you just want to stick in the fridge and you know you've got great beer. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. Really helps the channel. My views have been a bit down. I'm hoping that my back to the supermarkets, because they always get better views. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Tell your friends about the channel. Forward this to your friends. If you know people that like craft beer and you've stumbled upon this video and you think, well, these guys, they'll go to Morrisons, let them know about this one. Forward the review to them. It'd do a good, be a good for them, you know. So yeah. And until the next one, well, you know what you do. Drink a craft beer and keep on rocking.